now. Yo, I was hurting for certain. I was hurting for certain. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yo, it's kind of crazy. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. And y'all know how we do it. We normally do this from 1:30, but we doing this from 3 p.m. and I'm a little late with that too. I know, but it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right, man. I had to get some sleep last night. I got some sleep last night. I feel a lot better. You know what I mean? Like I ain't feel like I was in game shape to try to get this thing off at 3 o'clock. So we had to push it back, 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 had to push it back. Are you ready? 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 Let's get funky, y'all. Let's get stupid. Your therapist to mind their own business. What kind of crazy stuff is this? Tell your therapist to mind your own business while you pay. Why would you go to them today? Well, sometimes you got something to say, but you hold it all inside and it ain't even about pride. But you ain't telling nothing yet. Yo, get off of my set. Mind your own biz, therapist, counseling. Y'all understand now, thing? My name is Son. Y'all know I'm 7'5", not 7'1". Everything is gonna be alright. Keep the game tight, baby. How's this? How we do? I'm coming through for all of us. Who do you think you really are? We gonna be like this. The things in the sky, the stars, the moon, and can't forget the sun. I'm doing the thing because the deed is done. Everything is gonna be cool. Sit back, relax, be smooth. Yo, just relax. Don't break back. Yo, no taxes getting paid, no money is getting stolen. Y'all know I'm holding a couple dollars. I think y'all should holler back at the guy. You know that times is hard. D's, Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday, today from 3 p.m. till around 4:30-ish. And the reason that we say 4:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Saturday. And this is Saturday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the rrrr. And if you can't say Omar with the rrrr, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should as well. I was about to say tonight. Today on the Urban Therapy with Sun show, we are talking about telling your therapist to mind their own business. Telling your therapist to mind your own business. I know that you go to therapy, you seek out counseling in order to get help with your life's problems, the things that are plaguing you, the things from back in the day that just may have been weighing heavily on your heart and wasn't doing you right. Hold on. You know what? I didn't do this. I didn't pin the number. I'm going to do it now, though. There you go. There you go. But yeah, so you go to therapy normally, not because you're a crazy person, but because you may have had some mental or emotional, some psychological things going on that just, started weighing heavily on you. And you felt like you needed to talk to somebody who may have had a neutral position. But what happens? What happens when the things that you are going through, or when a thing that you're going through is so heavy for you, so personal to you, so deeply connected to you that you don't want to share? And you may not only not want to share, not want to tell, but you may not even want to heal from it. I thought the whole purpose of therapy was to heal. We got to get a healing going on. Heal, right? Well, wait a minute. Sometimes something may be so deeply personal to you that maybe you haven't reconciled it in your mind yet, which is interesting because you would think that you would look for a therapist to help you with the things that you haven't conquered yourself. But sometimes you may decide, well, I'm going to handle this one on my own. What's going on, Wes? How you feeling? Thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. And Hate Me. What's good, Hate Me? Thanks for coming through. T. Carey, right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. So that's what we're talking about. Telling your therapist to mind their own business. How absurd. I mean, I thought we were supposed to be brothers. What could make a person not only not want to share what's going on with them, but even if they did share, they don't necessarily want any conversation about it, any advice about it, and they may not even be ready or willing to heal from it. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Is it a secret? Sometimes it might be a secret and sometimes it might not be. That's how deep this shit can go. My brother from another mother, Norris Hill, sit back, relax, do your thing, max and chill. And also my people's Johnny West all up in the place. Good to see you. Taking up space. Good to see your face. What up, y'all? Thanks for coming through, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, though. Make sure y'all hit that like button. You know what I mean? Everything gonna be all right. But yeah, man, we talking about telling your therapist to mind their own business. Like, what are we doing? Like, damn. Now, I think it's a different situation when somebody has suggested or you've even been forced into therapy. In the case of you may have had an involuntary committal. In other words, somebody called the people on you. You was out there acting crazy. Maybe you had a nervous breakdown, but you definitely had a a somewhat psychological breakdown. I don't want to say a psychotic episode. Not that that's out of the realm of possibility, but you understand what I'm talking about. Things normally go a little bit better when you volunteer. But psychologically, some people volunteer for things to try to get ahead of it. That way they can control the narrative. It's like telling on somebody when you've committed the crime with them. Like you are an accomplice in the crime, so you told the cops, the detectives, or whoever about the crime, so you could either get a deal to whereas you didn't you didn't have to serve any time, get in any trouble, pay any fees, or you could at least kind of paint the story to make it look like you weren't involved or that you were forced into involvement. That's sort of like what telling your therapist to mind their business is like. You understand what I'm talking about? So some people may choose to take therapy because it proves to everybody that they are taking control of their lives. See, whereas y'all wait until y'all problems become so deep and unmanageable that somebody has to suggest that y'all go to therapy. I grabbed the reins of therapy for myself, and I scheduled some appointments because I knew I had to talk to somebody. But you may not have the intentions of talking to somebody about what really needs to be talked about. So the problems that you really have, or the issues that may really be going on with you, you trying to get help with everything except for that. Johnny West says crazy is a relative term. It sure is. And I don't think crazy is a therapeutic term. You can't use the word crazy in therapy, but you sure can use it on the streets. And quiet is kept. I know a lot of therapists, and guess what? They be like, yo, sometimes I gotta get away from these crazy ass people that I deal with. And they not talking about their coworkers. No, no. They are straight talking about their clients. You know, psychologists, psychiatrists, people in that field have the highest rate of suicide out of any profession. It's crazy. They be offing themselves a lot, and there could be a variety of reasons for it, and it's a shame that it comes down to that for them. Well, suicide is a terrible thing to happen for anybody in any situation. Even a murder suicide is tragic, super tragic. But when you think about a profession that you go to school for a pretty good length of time. In order to become a psychiatrist, you have to go through 4 years of undergrad, 2 to 3 years of a master's program, and then you have to do your residency program. I mean, residency, dissertation, and that shit takes a minute. I know people who have gone through the whole process, and shout out to them. Shout out to them. I I would name names, but they know who they are, and they don't watch the show consistently, but they watch it every now and then. But even if you are a licensed what's they called, a licensed social worker, they have social workers who have the ability, the right to. They can't write medications or prescriptions, but they can definitely do psychologist work. Clinical social workers, licensed clinical social workers. So they're social workers who actually can, do active therapy sessions with clients. So telling your therapist to mind their own business. Well, if y'all peep out the poll question, we asked some questions about what situations would make a person tell their therapist. Well, I didn't ask what situations would make them tell their therapist to mind their business. What I asked was what situations that may be so personal to somebody that they may not even want to heal from them. And when you really think about that, like, why wouldn't a person want to heal from a situation? It could be because they don't feel like they're sick from the situation. Like in the case of you dealing with a love that you love so much, you're looking for relief. You're looking for somebody you're hoping that person will finally meet you in the middle, and so y'all can have the greatest love of all, but they ain't doing that. So you may find yourself chasing after them. And you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong for chasing after them. You know you're wrong for stalking them. You know you're wrong for trying to compromise with somebody that's not trying to meet you halfway or compromise with you. You know you're wrong for being the one that does everything, that does all the work, that's doing all the trying. And your therapist, you may not want to share that with your therapist. Because you know what your therapist is going to tell you. Like, yo, you got to leave that motherfucker alone. Or you got to leave that chick. Come on now. You know better. Meanwhile, you ready to tell your therapist, like, first of all, maybe because you single, you don't understand what I'm going through. So if you're single, sit your ass down. Grown woman, don't try me. What's good? Not only do you need to sit your single ass down, but this is my situation. You ain't got nothing to do with it. I'ma handle it. That person makes me happy. I make them happy. And all people, all couples have problems, but me and them are better together than we are apart. So mind your own business, therapist. Do y'all understand where we going with this today? It looked like tonight. It's all overcast, dark. It's see, I'm playing psychology games. Stacey White talking about some don't be rude. What that mean? What that mean? All right, I'm gonna try not to be. Are we ready? Are you 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 ready? All right, let's go, y'all. Let's go. All right. Get my hardware out of the way. and we can go ahead and talk about what we came to talk about. We can get into what we came to get into. We can rock out, or with a cock out, or we can slam out, or with the clam out. All right, so what up? What's good? What the guy? Cheryl Halsey, what's going on, my? Good to see me some you. Good to see me some you. When you tell your therapist to mind their own business, what you doing? What are you doing? Why would you tell your therapist to mind you? Why would you go ahead and spend all your money, all your good old insurance premium money, and tell your therapist to mind their own business? Who tells their therapist to mind? I mean, talk about a waste of money and resources. Talk about a waste of money and resources. Come on, man. But like I said, there can be some things that are so personal to you, or so personal to somebody that you know, that you have literally or figuratively heard them and seen them tell everybody to mind their business about a situation that they can't even handle themselves, but they like, fuck that. No, I ain't ready to heal. You know, healing is one of those words that people throw around like they scrambling jelly beans. Now, I don't know. Now, everybody around the country may not know what scrambling means. But in Philly, where I grew up, when we used to scramble something, that means that we had a bunch of candy. We would go to the store and get a bunch of penny candies or whatever. Or like get a pack of Now Laters. There was a time when Now Laters were thick. They was like an inch wide, a square inch. There was a time where a pack of Now or Laters was it was more than an inch. Them Jones was big. Maybe like an inch and a quarter. Yeah, square. And we would take the whole pack because there used to be 9 of them. Take the whole pack, throw them up in the air, and the kids would all be on the ground, trying to get the Now Laters because it was free candy. That's what we called scrambling. Yo, so some rich kid around the way, and a rich kid from around our way was anybody that had more than $1. Growing up in the 70s, if you had $1 or more, you know how much candy you could buy for that shit? Like you was set. You was on a sugar high for like 2-3 days. For real. You know what I mean? Because a pack of gum was only like 15 cents. 15 cents, then it went up to a quarter, then it went up to 35 cents and all that kind of stuff. So we started feeling the weight of inflation when Ronald Reagan in the 80s came through. Real shit. So, all right. So when you talk about scrambling something, yeah, when you are ready to freely give out something, you know what I mean? You do it on your time. You do it in your space. You don't let somebody else come and tell you, how to do it. But yeah, people keep information to themselves. And that's something that we have to deal with. But you would think that when it came to healing, who doesn't want to heal? But like I said, the word healing, people throw it around like they scrambling Now Laters. Well, Mary Jane's or Squirrel Nuts. That was a good candy. Squirrel Nuts. Remember Squirrel Nuts? I guess nowadays, you said Squirrel Nuts, you would have to say pause. These kids don't have good Squirrel Nuts. I mean, I'm sure they make them somewhere. Last time y'all had a Squirrel Nut, y'all remember Squirrel Nuts? Peanut Chews? Huh? Peanut Chews that was some strange chocolate. What kind of chocolate was that on Peanut Chews? That was I the only one that the chocolate tasted strange? Was it because they used dark chocolate and we were so used to the brown or milk chocolate as they called it? Was that it? All right. Anyway, Yeah. So we throw around the word healing like there are a lot of people who do that. We may heal from a physical ailment, but when you think about it, at our age and our station now, shoot, you know how long it takes to actually heal from something? Even when we heal from a physical injury, it's like we still walking around with the symptoms. We ain't healed. Like we're healed-ish. Let me know if I'm talking to myself, because it could just be me. But like anybody who has twisted their ankle recently, or threw their back out, or had hip surgery, or broke, God forbid you should break an arm or a leg, or anything like that. At our age, that shit ain't never gonna get better. You're gonna be working with a permanent limp. Permanent limp, baby. You're gonna be like that pimp. Bitch better have my money. But yeah. So when we talk about psychological healing, when we talk about the way that you feel about things and personal trauma that you've been through, do we ever really heal? Like if your mama never loved you, did you ever really heal from that? Does anybody? I'm trying to be fair. Real trap. I'm trying to be fair.
You have a call from
Indiana caller. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. And hold on. I mean, the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Hold on a second.
You have a call from
Stacy.
There's gonna be a toe jam tonight. All right. So, caller with the Indiana caller. Welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. What's going on?
What's happening? You can't. You don't know what you
Look, when I told y'all that I was tired from yesterday and that I wasn't right, you know what I mean? I was not playing. I'm not healed. I'm hurting. I'm still hurt, but I'm gonna make it through it. I'm gonna make it through it.
I'm gonna try to make it through myself. As I physically just got myself in the bed because I have not been to sleep since last night.
That's not a good look.
Yeah, I know. So, will you talk? Is somebody else on here too? Do we have another caller?
Stacy is on here.
Hey, Stacy. Hi. We're talking about healing. Hey, chat. Hey, family. When you're talking about healing, so three things. One, when you were talking about the now later, how I remember I just came off of what about a week ago? So I converted back to that little kid on the ground trying to get the candy. And now later's were bigger. I don't know what this crappy is they got now, and they don't taste the exact same.
They used to be thick. Them Jones was real candy back in the day.
Yeah, now these tiny little things is like probably about 6 in a pack, and then they cost triple the cost, but whatever. Anyway, when you talk about healing, so physical healing, excuse me, so it'll be a year this year? Yeah, it'll be a year this month, somewhere between the end of this month and the beginning of this month. I had an injury, and I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to hear everybody's conversation about it. Like, you need to have somebody with you. You need to have your phone with you. So I have an all-concrete basement, and all the stairs in this house are straight down. They're narrow, and they're straight down. And I hit one of those bad boys wrong and fell in the basement. And I didn't have my phone with me. I didn't have anything. And I was literally stuck in the basement for probably about 3 hours.
What?
Yeah, before I could get myself back upstairs.
You had to crawl. You had to get yourself together to crawl back upstairs.
Yes.
And you was in the house by yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Did you cry?
Are you kidding me? I cried like a 2-year-old. What? What are these words?
I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know. You know what I mean? I just wanted to know. Yo.
I cried when I hit the ground, and then I cried because I couldn't get up, and then I cried because I was like, I'm going to die in here and nobody's going to know. So I just kept crying. And then I cried because, so our houses are very close to each other.
Uh-huh.
And, like, excuse me. So you can see into my neighbor's dining room from my bedroom.
Okay.
And so that's how close our homes are to each other. And if the windows are open, of course, like I always keep a window open. Because, you know, perimenopause, all bullshit. So I always keep like a window cracked. So my neighbor can always hear me. However, in the basement, those windows are open. In the basement, he may not be able to hear me because it's all concrete. I yelled for as long as I could because, so here's the positive. This is a community I grew up in, so everyone knows each other in my section.
Okay.
Because this is somebody I grew up around, or they're the offspring from somebody I grew up with as an adult. So like my neighbor, he is the grandson of the guy who was like my surrogate granddad when my grandfather passed. So, excuse me. He's there, and then behind me is my best friend's husband's family. They live behind me. The neighbors across the street I grew up around as a kid. And then the one neighbor is just friends with my dad. So if something happens and they can see it physically, they'll call my dad, or, you know, they'll come and look or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the basement, nobody can see shit or hear shit. So of course I'm crying because I'm like, I'm gonna die. Nobody's gonna know anything. And then it just took a while for me to get my shit together and be like, okay, you gotta get back upstairs. If you can at least get upstairs, you can make enough noise or do something so the neighbor next door on the other side, she can see you in the kitchen. They can see you in the kitchen, and then they can get help. Eventually, I got myself back upstairs, and once I was upstairs, I was good because I was able to grab hold and walk, but I had demolished my damn knee.
The knee?
And so,
oh, man. Anything but the knee.
And it's the same knee that has been injured for at least a decade from car accidents or falling in the bathroom because of the damn cat or whatever. It's the same knee.
Yeah, you ain't gonna play on the team. You ain't gonna play on the team this season.
I have never healed from that completely. It'll be a year and I still have not healed from it. Like, it's a little scarring, but we just had the same temperatures you guys had. We just had that cold little moment come in. I felt like this thing was on fire. I said, what the? I woke up one day and that damn cold inside that knee, I thought I was going to die. It hurt so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then it swelled up a little bit. So I'm probably never, ever going to heal from that. Like, it's probably never, ever going to be the same knee it ever was. And every now and then, like, I'll be okay walking, then out of the blue it's decided, you know what, bitch, fall. So it's not ever going to be the same again.
Mm.
So I just wanted to confirm, yes, as we get older, I don't think we ever heal completely. Now, the other option, of course, they say we can do some surgery, some maybe surgery, and maybe we can fix it, and maybe. Don't give me any maybe stuff. I'm good. We'll just work it out because I don't want to do maybe.
What,
Um,
see, I mean, you know, one thing we can't do with body parts is restore it to factory condition. You know what I'm saying? We can't.
hmm
But when you start talking about the mental part, restoring it to factory condition may not be a good thing because it might start it out fucked up.
And that's the part I want to talk about, that mental part. You know, people always, like you say, throw around the term healing. And there are some things I think you never heal from. For example, when there's death, people always say, you know, let's get through the funeral so we can start to heal, the healing process. And I don't use those terms with people because I don't think the majority, I think there are some people who might, they're probably psychopaths, but I don't think the majority of us ever heal from loss. Because how can you, I think you get better from it. It makes it more tolerable, but I don't think you ever heal from it because how do you forget? How do you get that feeling back when that person existed, or even like my cat? How do you get that back? You don't. You can never get that back. So I don't think you ever heal from it, but it's a term that people use because they think it's the right thing to say, and I think they don't know what to say. And of course, for a lot of Christian people, they say, well, you know, God is going to make it better, blah, 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 blah. And so they think that's the thing to say too, when in reality, it's, for me, in my opinion, it's not the right thing to say. I don't believe it's a realistic thing to say to somebody who is walking into that life, who's becoming a new child who's lost a parent, or parent who's lost a child, or somebody who's lost a best friend, or any kind of loss. I don't think it's realistic to tell somebody, now it's time to start to heal. Like, that's what they say to my cousin now, who lost her child.
Yeah.
She is so broken. She's so hurt, and we all are. But we got people who are always saying, you guys got to heal now. It's time to heal now. It's been a year. It's time to heal now. You never heal from that. You never get past it. I think it's a terrible thing for people to say.
Well, let me add a little context or a little perspective to it. I think when people say, when some people speak about healing, they're not necessarily talking about totally getting over it. They're talking about getting to a place where you're functional, because some people are knocked out of their functionality by tragedy or loss. You know what I mean? Well, loss can be a tragedy, can be a loss, but you understand what I mean. So,
Yeah.
and I subscribe to that too. We have to get back to a point where we can live, because we are still alive, and we don't have the option of jumping in the casket with somebody or getting buried with somebody unless we take our own lives, which should never be an option. So I understand what they talk about. I mean, what some people may mean when they talk about healing, if their hearts are really in the right place, and if their mentality is in the right place. They mean that, we got to get to the point where that the healing may just be your ability to function on a day-to-day basis, and to do the things that are necessary for you to live on, and be able to interact with other people. So I get that part. But to some people,
But they can't put a time frame on it too. They got to
oh
stop
no,
putting the time frame on it.
well, when people talk about starting to heal, I understand where they're coming from. You can't say that, like what your people said to you, like it's been a year. No, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
just like your knee may never be restored to pre-existing condition,
So that thing is
um,
done.
you can't expect a a function of your body that doesn't even have the ability to forget what it has seen, done, or been through, you can't expect that to return to pre-existing condition, because pre-existing condition didn't involve that situation. So it may take as long as it takes, but I do think it's important to work on it. So when we're talking about telling your therapist to mind their own business, we may be talking about a situation where you either don't think that you'll heal from, or that you're not ready to start the healing process from, which really means that you need even more therapy. What's up, Carla? Carla, what's good? So yeah, it's a concerning, problem that some people have, and so we're gonna talk about it. Stacy, what's good?
Hey, nothing.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing good. Oh, everything's good with me. I'm just calling in about the topic.
Okay. So what do you have to say about the topic?
From a mental point of view, first of all, when you go to therapy, you got to be really brave to go. Because you might, when you sit down, you never know where the conversation is going to go, and you really do want to get healed from it. You know, you don't even know if you're still hurting from whatever you're talking about.
You don't know if you're still hurting?
Yeah, because I've been, my heart's been broken, when it comes to relationships. And I could pray all day long and ask God to heal me and comfort me and move on with my life. But I don't know if that still, play a big part of how I'm moving, how I'm moving, so for the mental part, that's what I'm talking about. So, I don't know how the therapist would get anything out of me, but I don't know if I tell my therapist to mind their business. I just go through it. Like I said, you have to be real brave to go through true therapy to get healing. If you want mental healing, if you want mental healing, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, do you think that if you went to a therapist, or if you have never been to one, but do you think that you would share everything that needs to be shared in order to help yourself get better?
I don't know. I'm still finding out certain things about myself, so I don't know.
But well, I'm asking, would you open up?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Okay.
I would go. I'd be willing to go, but I ain't like I won't be scared. You know what I'm saying? You have to be brave to really go. Because right now, I just pray about things and I journal a lot. And I just got over something my family didn't even know. I was diagnosed being pre-diabetic, and that don't run in my family. So what I had to do was I was already eating right, and so I just started praying, and God did deliver me. And when I went back the next time to take the test, there was no sign of diabetes at all. So, and I'm really watching my what I'm eating.
Yeah,
So
definitely keep
yeah,
eating right, but they throw these doctors' offices are throwing they giving everybody pre-diabetes. No bullshit. You know what I mean? They telling
I don't
everybody they ain't arranged.
I don't play with that diabetes stuff. I don't play with nothing when it comes to I love food. But I don't play with nothing when it comes to my health, and
Right.
diabetes really don't run in my family. My mother had it when she got sick at the very end. But sometimes I know you have to watch what you eat, but then again, I think diabetes will sneak up on you. So I just really be watching what I eat, because I'm already trying to deal with this healing in my physical anyway. And I understand what Kim, that's my worst fear, falling down and nobody hearing me. That's my worst fear. And I already had a freak accident when I fell in the elevator. I fell twice and I blacked out one time.
And it's just, we got things around my apartment where if I fall, I'll be all right, and I wear a monitor around me. But when I was in the hood, I literally fell from the stairs all the way down in the living room, landed right on my tush.
Mm.
And that's really scary, not getting up, being able to get up, have to crawl to get up. I have been there too. I've been there. Imagine having something on the stove and you fall and you cooking.
Oh my God, the thought of a fire and you, oh my God.
And lucky the thing get worse. My neighbor had heard me, and by the time I was like, oh God, and at the time my neighbor was my enemy. I was like, please don't let my enemy see me. I was calling, and he got me up. I grabbed on that thing. It's like resurrection power just came up in me. I got up. She came to the door. She was like, Stacey, you was calling me? I said, that's all right, I'm good. I was like, oh my God. And the egg was boiling on the doggone stove, falling, and anybody could fall. And since I done got older, I was falling a lot. And now I'm paying real close attention because this last accident was terrible because I wasn't paying attention. So I'm really paying attention. And I wasn't going to come home. I told my cousin I ain't coming home till they get some stuff in there where if I do fall, I could press a button or something. So they got me monitors. Because we got monitors they got it in the bedroom and the bathroom. They need monitors all the way around. So I'm not scared if I fall this time, but that fall ain't no joke.
Yeah.
And
Let me ask you a question. It's a random question, but I have to ask it. Is that something you purchased? Because I'm curious. Is that something you purchased yourself to get monitors, or are these just the regular like monitors like we buy for like cameras or something like that? Or is that something you got for you?
It's pricey, but it's worth it if you have accidents and you don't want to be by yourself, and then you don't want to be, you independent and everything. My cousin got the monitor, so like when I go out, if I fall, I gotta pass going to I gotta pass the apartment, like when I go to the store and stuff, but these are long blocks. It ain't like the neighborhood I used to be in. The stores be around the corner. And, just in case I walk to the store or something and I fall, I got it around my neck and I can just press a button, I feel safe. It's pricey, but it's worth it. Because when you fall and you can't that is so terrible. I used to that was my worst fear, just falling and nobody getting. And when I fell in the hood in Detroit, and I'm calling on my neighbor, I didn't really like her. She didn't like me, and I had to call on her. I was like, oh God. And I just prayed my way through. I really prayed my way through, and I was really scared because that pot was on the stove, and I had it on the stove for some time.
Alrighty, thank you.
That's hard. That's really hard. And that's a mental thing, Omar. I deal with a lot of stuff I done been through that's really mental. Really mental when it's dealing with my health. I literally be fighting for my life. I'm like, they see the glory, but they don't see what I went through to get to where I'm at. I look normal, but I'm not.
But all right, so wait a minute. Okay, so if you're not really sure if you would share everything with your therapist, what do you think would prevent you from okay, now I just think it's odd that a person wouldn't want to heal, but I also understand that there can be things that are so personal to you that you don't really want to share. You may really not want to heal. You know what I mean? Like if it's a situation that you have rationalized makes you happy or validates you in some kind of way, when it's actually something that's hurting you or detrimental, to your situation or whatever. Like in the case of being in love with somebody that doesn't reciprocate the kind of love that you're giving. You know what I mean? So I could
Yeah.
understand not really wanting to share that with everybody. And
What? Yeah. Far as that's concerned, like I said, I done had my heart broken, and I ain't like I really used to be. I done back from that. Um, I don't go head first or nothing like that. I just back. And like I say, this is not me. I pray about it and I wait on the Lord. So that's a tough one. I just, like I said, I'm cool. I just want my physical healing. If I get it again, I get it again when it comes to love. But I'm not in no rush for it because I have had my heart broken. I have had my heart played with, and I had somebody get married on me while I was still there, played in my face. So I'm just like I'm good. Now, as far as sharing, I have been sexually assaulted when I was younger, and I wouldn't know how my therapist would get that out of me, but I would have to go into detail with that, and I don't know if that's a big part of the way I move now. I'm not trusting like I used to. I used to be free to trust. I don't trust everybody.
yeah, I understand that.
I don't trust, and I don't trust too many females because they'll turn on you. I'm very, I'm all for the sisters, but it's like they don't give that back to me. So I give that back to me.
All right.
But yeah.
Okay, you might not trust some people that are close to you because you may know more about whether you can trust them or not. But for a neutral person or a person that's supposed to be neutral, like a therapist, do you think that you can share with a therapist, or would you hold back until you could be 100% sure that they could be trusted? What do you think?
I don't know. I never been to a therapist before, so I don't know how it was fine.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then that kind of answers itself. If you've never been to a therapist before, that might be something that you have to think about because the only way that therapy works is if you really share what's going on with you. If you try to keep secrets, or if you try to spin the narrative or control the narrative of what's going on with you, and try to treat the therapist like a psychic, it's not going to work at all. Like you have to express yourself so that you can kind of hear yourself and be heard, and actually address whatever things you've been going through. Like, for example, let's say you were sexually assaulted when you were younger, right? Now that might have been something that was really tragic for you, and it might not be something that you really want to talk about. So you might have gone through other traumatic things in your life, and you're willing to talk about those things, but the fact that you never dealt with or don't deal with that sexual assault situation, that might be the thing that's stopping you from healing from everything else. So even though you didn't verbally tell your therapist to mind their own business, by you not sharing what happened to you, you're essentially saying mind your own business because I'm not giving you this business of mine. And that could be a trust issue, but not just a trust issue. It doesn't always necessarily have to do with anything dealing with trust. And the reason that I say that is because it's not always about worrying about if somebody will tell on you or tell somebody. Sometimes it's more about you not being able to handle it yourself. You not processing it in the way that it probably needs to be processed so you can deal with it. You know? So so yeah, that's that's why, the word heal, it means different things to different people. But we do all have to heal at some point. And just like I said before, healing for me is just being able to function at a decent level, regardless of whatever you have going on or whatever went on.
Yeah, I think I'm here because you know why I think I'm here? Because I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter of the things that I have been through. I'm not bitter. And I feel that I am healing. I'm just waiting on my manifestation for healing, you know, in my physical. As far as things that I've been through, I'm not bitter. Even the rejection I don't receive from different people, I'm not bitter.
Yeah, well, just because you're not bitter doesn't mean that you're healed. Because when you broken, that mean when you're broken or hurt, that means that something isn't working the way that it used to. So even if you're not bitter about something that happened between you and somebody else or whatever, you may be hurt, sick, or unhealed by the fact that you're no longer in the peaceful place that you used to be before you found out what you found out or know what you know. You understand what I mean? So maybe you're saying that you feel like you're healed because you're not bitter. But maybe you're not bitter because you are indifferent. Maybe you become numb and you've decided that you're going to become bulletproof and nothing else can ever touch you. Nothing else can ever phase you. Nothing else can ever could ever affect you, which sounds good on the surface, but then when you look deeper into it, nothing being able to affect you also means that you don't feel anything, which means that you could be cold and hard towards other people in their situations, which is not a good thing, and you may be even hard and cold towards yourself.
I don't think so. I don't think I'm damaged goods. I don't think I'm broken. And like I said, I don't think I'm bitter. I just move on. If it don't work, it just don't. That's the attitude I have. The fruit of the spirit does still work within me. You know, it is what it is, and I'm continuing to learn. I don't want to be that person being angry and bitter, hateful towards men. Now some men say they don't hate women, but that's not the attitude that they give, that I see. I see they hating on women. They hate women and they think all women are hoes. I'm not a hoe. So, and that's the attitude that some men have. But however, I do protect myself. I'm not numb. I'm very aware of what's going on around me. So my heart won't get broken. So my spirit won't get crushed. Because my grandmother always said, don't allow nobody to break your spirit. And when it's get to that point, that's when I need to leave because I don't want to be broken. And suicide, that plays a big part in my family. So I need to watch what I do and how I live my life because that's a curse on my family. I walk in the blessings of my family. I don't walk in the curses of my family. I'm not going to get to a point where the pain is so deep, hurting so bad that I can't maintain or I can't live another day. That's just not me.
And that's good. I'm glad that's not you. I do.
Yes, it's not me. I love life. Everything might not be great and shiny or whatnot, but God gave me wisdom on how to, I let people in my life. Some people want to knock down my walls and find out my business, what's going on with me. I'm not obligated to tell nobody none of my business is going on. What I share is what I share. You understand what I'm saying? I protect me, but like I said, it's generational curses that's really strong in my family. And these people had it going on, but their mental was not right.
All right.
Mental was not right. My mental was good. That's all I was saying.
All right. I want to read something that Dimples D's said. She said therapy is a confidential space designed for the purpose of understanding and support. However, you don't need to share if you're uncomfortable. Do y'all agree with that?
That's good. Yeah.
You agree with that too, Kevin?
I agree. However, I think it's important too when you are seeking a therapist, you have to be mindful of who you find. You should always seek therapy with someone you feel comfortable with and a person who aligns with you. Like, I mean, I don't mean this mean to anybody, but I'm not going to go to a therapist who's a white man. I'm going to go to a white therapist, period. And it's nothing against anybody based on race, but I'm a black woman. There's no way you could understand my struggles as a black woman if you're a white man or white. So it's that.
Okay. Now, where I'm conflicted is I don't see how the thing that you like whatever the thing is that you're uncomfortable about and that you're not sharing, how do you expect to heal from that when that seems to be eating away at all of the things that you may be healing from? Because whatever that thing is that makes you uncomfortable that you don't want to share, that's probably the thing that you need the help with the most. So I'm just trying to figure out how it's possible to say that you're healed from that. What do you think? Healing. Healing. Nothing more.
Oh,
than
are you thinking of both of us? Because I don't understand the question, to be honest. Like,
Okay.
there's no way I would, because I speak to a therapist, especially after the pandemic. I really had to. And if first of all, if I'm spending my money, then I'm telling you all the stuff I need to tell you that we need to work on. Like, I don't believe if we're going to have a secret if I'm spending my money. Because I can take my own money and wipe my ass with it and throw it in the street if I'm going to waste it.
Right.
So I'm not going to do that.
Okay, but
So if I'm talking, I'm telling you how I feel. What I feel might be the problem, what I'm struggling with. Like, there are no secrets if I'm seeking your assistance. Now, does that mean I tell everything? Of course it doesn't mean I tell everything, because there's still some stuff I have to work through myself before I feel comfortable talking to my therapist about it. But if I'm coming to my therapist for something specific, then I'm telling everything. So, an example, after the pandemic, that was rough on everybody. And in my opinion, I think the majority of us have a piece of us that's broken anyway, especially anybody who was born a 70s baby. Anybody who was born in the 70s and grew up in the 80s, I think we all should be seeking some form of therapy for whatever reason, because we all had some of the same struggles. And they weren't good for us. Like, we look back on them and we joke about them, but a lot of stuff we went through at that time wasn't good for us. Like, we were left to fend for ourselves for the most part. So, but after the pandemic, I think the majority of everybody should be talking to a therapist, because that was something none of us have ever experienced. And it took a toll on a lot of people. And I didn't realize until recently how much it has taken a toll on me. One perfect example is because I had to really sit down and count how many obituaries I helped prepare and how they have affected me. Like, I worked over more than 300 obituaries during the pandemic.
That's some shit.
And I didn't realize how much sadness I consumed during that time and how it affects me now.
Yeah.
I still have to talk to my therapist because of that, because I consume so much, because it bothers me, because it sits inside my spirit so bad now. And not because I'm scared of ghosts or nothing like that, but it's just, that was a lot of sadness that I have never experienced in my life that I had to take in from other people and from my loved ones and from people who I love who lost somebody. So I picked up everybody's sadness during that. And I didn't realize how much that affected me until somebody else saw it and said it to me. And so I was open with my therapist about everything and how it made me feel, and how there are times I just want to say, I don't want to do that anymore for anybody, because I don't want to take anybody else's sadness on. But at the same time, especially if it's a loved one, there's no way I'm not going to do that. There's no way I'm going to say no if it's a loved one.
Right.
And I struggle with that. I struggle with that because if this is a person I love too, then I'm going to always want to I want to leave the best words, the best story for others about this person that I could possibly leave. But there's still a part of me that is like, I can't take any more. Like, one day is it going to be so much that I decide I can't exist anymore. And I'm not saying because I ever thought about suicide or anything like that, but I fear that feeling. I fear feeling like that because of sadness, you know? So I can't imagine seeking assistance from a therapist and not telling that part. I can't imagine keeping secrets from my therapist who I'm spending my money for. I'm giving this person their lifestyle and not sharing with them the reason I'm talking to them. So that's where I stand on it. I just think it's, like I said, I can wipe my ass with my own money and throw it in the street and waste it if that's what I'm going to do.
Well, Omar.
Yeah.
I something. I told you what went on with my family when it comes to suicide. I'm not that type of person. However, I would never take my life. However, it don't do for nobody to mess with me. It's like, instead of being inward, it's like outward with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not scared to go into battle with anybody that's messing with me and that crosses me. And that's the way I think. And I've been thinking like that for a long time, especially since the things that was happening into my family. I don't, like I said, I know I'm not nowhere near that. The curse is not on me, but I can see bars. So,
You can see
and
what?
I don't want to go to jail. So that's why I don't say nothing, and I try not to be easy provoked, but I could take it there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that anger, things that I've been through, and again, don't let me be a fearful person, because when you're scared and somebody messing with you, that's the wrong thing to do.
Yep. It is. But I wanna say this. You know, you never know what you might consider until you get into a situation where consideration is necessary. And I'm not talking about suicide, because I don't think that that's an option for people who are genuinely and generally happy.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back to what Kim was talking about when she said, because she understands therapy, and she's paying for that, so she doesn't see any reason why she would hold back. But just like she said, there may be things that you haven't processed yourself, so you're not ready to share that yet. But those things that you haven't processed yourself yet, or fully processed, I should say, might be the things that are pulling you down. They might be the things that are holding you back. Those might be the things that are messing up everything. So you controlling the timeline of when you bring those things to the forefront may dictate that you never bring them up. Like, look, I'm healing anyway. I'm getting better. I'm getting better over here. I'm getting better over there. So I don't need to really deal with this thing. This thing right here because maybe it's not relevant anymore. But that's you taking that into your own hands, and you have the power and the right to do that. But the question is, are you really healing? Are you giving yourself a chance in that way? And maybe yes, and maybe no. You understand what I mean? It's just, you know, in doing that, you are telling your therapist to mind their own business. Like this is your business, and you're not ready or willing to share with the therapist that you are going to. And so that's that. And your therapist doesn't necessarily have to be a licensed therapist. It could just be the person that you talk to, the person that you confide in, the person that you tell your secrets to or share your life experience with. It could be a good friend, a best friend.
Mhm.
You know.
I feel, even everything that I went through, and I done been through some tough stuff. I'm glad I don't look like what I done been through.
Mm.
By me having God in my life, I am really very happy. I'm happy. I'm glad that I was raised by the parents and the grandparents that I was raised by. I'm glad that my father, he did what he could. I don't grieve over my mom because I know what she is, and I'm just trying to be the best version of me. So I can, when God do give me that man, I could be good and ready and the best version for that man. I'm very happy. But when people try their misery, and people see, they know when you're happy. They know when you're at peace. And when people try to provoke you and mess with you and dip in your business and stuff because they're miserable, they try to take that away from you.
Mm.
Well, all you got to do is get a religion. I don't argue about nobody with their religion because with this mental stuff, you got to have somebody to believe in. Because my cousin had God and he still did what he did. First of all, I always thought it was weird. I have a cousin that's a policeman. I understand him carrying a gun. My other cousin was just a regular cousin and he had it going on. I'm like, why you got a gun with you? I always thought that was weird to me. That stood out like a sore thumb.
Why?
Because there wasn't no need for him to have. He wasn't doing it. It just stood out to me like a sore thumb. I don't know why, but it stood out.
Okay.
Because in the profession he was in, and he wasn't in no profession where he needed to carry a gun. He dressed nice. He dressed nice like you did, Maybe I thought maybe that's why he was carrying. I just, I still don't think that you needed to. I didn't think he was the type that needed a gun. Mm. And what happened was when he did what he did, I was right. I was right.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I understand why people. I guess coming from the city that I come from, I understand why people carry a gun. As long as they're using it for protection instead of to rob people or hurt people or whatever. But yeah,
But and like I said, I understand that, but this didn't have nothing to do with it because him and his wife left him for a white man. That's what this was about. He wrote the letter.
The thing is, even with the letter, you have to think about what a person might be going through in their lives when they decide to take their own life. They can say, or other people can say, it was because of this. But when you really think about it, is it really just one thing?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying because him himself been through. He could have just been tired because he's been through a lot too.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I just I've never. Unfortunately,
I'd rather go to jail.
Listen, I'd rather not do either, but
I'm sorry, I got my mama in me. Just 'cause I don't mess with nobody. All I want to do is get my coins, get blessed, live right, have fun. That's all I want to do. I just don't want nobody come messing with me.
no, I get it.
That's how I am. I have a free spirit. You know, I just want to live life. And after being so covered by my grandmother and my mother, they was not strict, but you know, I had to go under rules. So it's like I'm free now. I'm an adult. I can do what I want to do now. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep on living and having fun.
Okay.
You know, and then when I get to that point, I want to be able to call a friend and tell them how I'm feeling or what I'm feeling, you know. I do have sad times now. I do be sad.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is, the devil don't want you to have no friends, so you could be isolated and can't tell nobody what you're going through. And I make sure that I have a good support system around me, family and friends. You know, so I think that's why I'm making it, because of my family and friends. So leave it to social media. They'll tell you that family is your worst enemy, but my family has been my support system. I don't tell them everything. They know me, but they don't know all my business.
Right.
They don't tell all their business.
No, I get it. I do. I totally get it.
You can't tell everybody all your doggone business. You can't tell nobody, even when it comes to your pockets. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just through the years, I learned wisdom and knowledge on what to say and what not to say. And my mother was in the kitchen one time. She was like, "You can't tell all your blessings because everybody is not happy for you."
But yeah, well, you know, when it comes to when you start looking at your experiences as your business, that's already saying that you're probably only going to share but so much of it. But when we're talking about going to a therapist, I don't see how you can go to a therapist without. Okay, let me put it this way: I don't see how you can go to a therapist voluntarily and have business that you don't want to share.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying like when it's time for me to go, because I do plan on going. I do want to go, but I gotta be ready to go. And if I be ready to go and money gotta come out my pocket, I got my insurance probably will cover it or whatnot. But I have to be ready to sit down with the therapist in order. I gotta be ready to do the work, the inside work. But that's when But right now, I don't see nothing. I need to go because, like I said, I journal. I write down everything down on paper, and I pray, and I just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got friends. I can talk to friends, So, and it's not nothing that deep. I haven't really, other than dealing with my sickness, it ain't been that deep for me in life.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it is. It's very good because I know people that's in a situation, same thing with health problems. They went towards drugs and other things and no good men instead of dealing with themselves,
Yeah.
So that's not me. I don't have that story. So, but there's nothing wrong with a therapist. I think it's good. And we're not to as far as like me, I kind of God. I'm not supposed to take my life. He don't. He said he don't. That's my pastor said when somebody takes their life, that's hell. I'm like, well, okay, but do God know anything about mental illness? Because mental illness is real.
Yeah.
Mental illness is very real.
Well.
Yeah, my cousin definitely had a relationship with the Lord. I know he had them.
I don't really want to stay on the suicide thing, but it happens. But one thing I do know about people who have committed suicide is that they normally have some kind of issue going on that they just can't get resolved. because there's a deep depression that's going on that is either not being addressed by them, by anyone, or them, or yeah, I mean that's normally what it is. You know what I'm saying? There's so many
Yeah.
things. There's so many things. You know, we can point to one thing because they might really depend on a person to try to make them feel better, which is unfair to that person. But but the depression that comes along with suicide normally involves with not being able to escape the emotional pain that you're in, no matter what you try. So it's
Yeah.
like yesterday was, today is worse than yesterday was, and I expect for tomorrow to be worse than today. And that's a personal thing that if they don't share that with somebody, and even sometimes when they do, they have to heal from that. They gotta address that problem. And they
Hmm.
may not always address that problem is there. But then again they may. So yeah, it's a tough situation. Not being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel with each passing day. I mean, what could be more hellish than that? When you in hell, you burning for all eternity, as they say, and you want to not be able, you want to not have to burn, which isn't up to you. Well, that's the same way that deep, dark depression works.
Hmm.
You can't find the good day. The good day is far away from you, and it's constantly running.
Yeah. I don't know. I, I don't, like I said, I probably will open up eventually. I'll open, but I have to be prepared and prepped when I'm going to a therapy.
Mm-hmm.
To therapy, and they got all kind of ways that you could have therapy. Now you can even do therapy on the phone now.
That's true.
Yeah, you can do that on the phone. So, and they
Or,
make
or
and they
over
make it
or
for the
over the
interest.
computer, or you can FaceTime or whatever. There are a lot of different
Yeah.
ways.
There's different ways you can have therapy, but you really gotta be, like I said, I have to be, I don't feel like I said, I got a nice life, so I'm good right now, for right now,
Yeah, you holding
I'm
on,
just,
maintain it. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're not going long today. I'm gonna do these birthday shout outs and then we're gonna get up out of here. So if y'all have anything that y'all want to
okay.
say in
Have a
passing,
blessed day, everybody. Be safe.
all right.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
All right, you good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kim, you good?
That's the same for me. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe. And definitely look into some therapy. It doesn't have to be anything big or major, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we ought to use it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. All
Y'all
right.
Happy
be safe.
birthday, Urban.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right. All right, y'all. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious November 15th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are Special. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Linda Janine Bell. Happy birthday to you. And also Tammy Riley Reynolds, Bessie Mason, Miss Miller, no pressure, Verdell Goodman, Nicola McIntyre, no relation. But what up, cuz? What's good? And also Marva Stevenson, Ebony Hicks, my girl. Go get her, Ebony Hicks. Onika Brown, and my man comedian Pretty Smiles, aka Alfred L. Rogers II, Kim Branch, and last but not least, my man comedian Stacksnificent. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious November 15th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. Turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out. Rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, man, listen, telling your therapist to mind their business, telling your confidant to mind their business, telling the person that you trust or say that you trust to mind their business can be done in a variety of ways. It's not always verbally telling them to mind their business, but it may be acting in such a way where they can clearly see that you are going through something is bothering you, something is holding you back, something is keeping you from being your best self. And you're telling them that ain't nothing wrong with me, maybe something wrong with you. And since something is wrong with you, you should go ahead and address it. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go back to this wonderful life that I was living before you even came up and asked me questions talking about there's a reason I don't have a smile on my face. I do have a smile on my face. Look. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another Urban Therapy with Sun show. So I want to thank y'all for coming through on a later time on the same day. I apologize for having to do it a little bit later, but I'm glad that we got it done regardless. Make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And I will get back with y'all. See you later or see you tomorrow. Peace.